Alright, so welcome in to the GBT Football Show. In Palagoma Victor Gracious Hines is my name, your host, and as always, it is a pleasure having you join me on this show. So it's European week. We have UEFA Champions League and Europa League action returning to our television screens. In the UEFA Champions League, we're at the round of 16 stage, while in the Europa League, we're at the round of 32 stage. But our focus on today's edition will be on the UEFA Champions League preview and the games coming up to you this week. Now, as I mentioned, we are at the round of 16 stage. Last week, a few teams involved in this stage of the competition this season played their first leg of ties, and this week will be a whole other set of different teams. Then we're going to be taking a look at that in just a moment. But in case you missed it, in Italy in the Serie A, Juventus defeated Crotone by 3-0. Cristiano Ronaldo on the double as Juventus cut the gap between them and second place AC Milan to 4 points. And there's an 8-point gap between Juventus and the league leaders, Inter Milan. That is still a pretty huge gap between last season's champions and this season's incumbent champions, probably. Now, Cristiano Ronaldo scored 2 beautiful headers, and as I said, in case you missed it, please go ahead and check it out as the Portuguese superstar scored his 24th and 25th goals of the season. Then in England, in the Premier League, Crystal Palace defeated Brighton hove Albion by 2-1. Christian Benteke ensuring all the 3 points late in stoppage time for Crystal Palace against Brighton hove Albion. So with that being said, now we can switch our focus attention to the UEFA Champions League. We have some pretty interesting and big matchups coming up to our television screen. Now on Tuesday night, Spanish outfit Atletico Madrid take on Chelsea, while the defending European champions Bayern Munich take on Lazio. Then on the Wednesday, Atalanta face 14-time European winners Real Madrid, while Borussia Mönchengladbach take on runaway leaders of the Premier League, Manchester City. So nothing short of entertainment coming our way. Now we'll start things off with Tuesday night's action, and of course Atletico Madrid versus Chelsea. Now these are two teams that need no introduction. When you hear Atletico Madrid or Chelsea, we know that these are European powerhouses. We know that these are teams that have quality football players on each side, and that is exactly that. That's exactly what we are going to be seeing tonight on the UEFA Champions League between these two sides. Now, they both have renowned managers in Thomas Tuchel and Diego Simeone, who need no introduction either. We know the success that Thomas Tuchel has had in Paris, and we see and know the success that Diego Simeone has had with Atletico Madrid in Spain. However, once it comes to the European stage, both have fallen short. Last season, Thomas Tuchel made the UEFA Champions League final but lost to Bayern Munich, while Diego Simeone has managed 2 Champions League finals with Atletico Madrid, but has yet to test the gold medal and get his hands on that prestigious trophy. So these are 2 managers who have come so close yet have failed to get their hands on the trophy, coming up against each other. Now for Diego Simeone, he is in the lead in the La Liga. His team are top of the table. However, they come into this game off a loss against Levante in the league this past weekend, and they saw their lead at the top of the table shrink to only 3 points between them and their crosstown rivals Real Madrid. But the most important thing is that they still hold the destiny in their own hands. While for Chelsea, they come into this game after drawing against Southampton this past weekend. Thomas Tuchel has been at Chelsea for 3 weeks and he is still unbeaten, but there is still a sense of doubt around Thomas Tuchel because he hasn't really been tested, and I think this is his first big taste as Chelsea manager. And there's a lot of anticipation surrounding this game. Who would you back in this situation? A 3 weeks old Chelsea, 3 weeks old Thomas Tuchel Chelsea side, or a Diego Simeone Atletico Madrid side that knocked out Liverpool at this stage of the competition last season. And they are a very different Atletico Madrid side as well, because compared to last season, they are more well-rounded now, because now they have a balance between the attack and the defense. Last season they were more defensive, but this season with the acquisition of Luis Suarez, they've scored 54 goals so far. That is an absolute fit for Atletico Madrid. So this is a team that this is a game that is expected to be pretty big because you have 2 big clubs going up against each other. But if you had to make me choose between the 2 sides, then it's very hard to see Chelsea beating Atletico Madrid side and the Leverkusen side that sees them at the top of the La Liga table. But that's an interesting one that you'll want to keep an eye out for. Then Bayern Munich take on Lazio. Now, Lazio is appearing in the knockout stages of this competition for the first time in nearly 2 decades. So they are pretty excited for this game, while Bayern Munich haven't lost in 17 UEFA Champions League games. They've won 16 and drawn only 1. What a record that is. But they come into this game off a pretty underwhelming recent couple of weeks, because they've had some pretty inconsistent results, and their most recent results, a 2-1 loss to Eintracht Frankfurt, while Lazio have won their last 7 they've won 7 of their last 8 games. So they are contrasting. These are two teams with contrasting forms. But when you look at Bayern Munich, they are the European champions. They are still the top of the Bundesliga title. I mean, this table, and they do still have some of the world's best players. They are going to be missing some key players in Thomas Muller, in the likes of Serge Gnabry, Douglas Costa, but you have Robert Lewandowski still in the mix. You have Serge Gnabry. You have the likes of David Alaba, Alphonso Davies, and coming into this game. They have had a rough past couple of weeks, but they come into this game still as the European champions and still having enough quality. Now for the Lazio, they have a player in Ciro Immobile, the only player to have outscored Robert Lewandowski last season when it comes to domestic league goals. Ciro Immobile overtook Robert Lewandowski in that sense. So it's the battle of Ciro Immobile versus Robert Lewandowski. Who will be able to lead their team over the line and get the victory? Will be interesting to see. But my money is on Bayern Munich. Then on Wednesday, Atalanta face Real Madrid. Atalanta, one of the most fiercest attacking teams in Europe right now. They've scored a total of 53 goals only in the Serie A. Behind the likes of Inter Milan and Manchester City, Atalanta are one of the most fiercest attacks in Europe, and going up against the Real Madrid side that has no Marcelo, has no Sergio Ramos. It's going to be one heck of a task going up against that kind of attack. Now, Real Madrid won against Real Valladolid, and that took them to second and are only 3 points behind league leaders Atletico Madrid. They're not playing particularly too well, but they are getting the results. And this is a competition that Real Madrid have thrived in over the past couple of years. But ever since Ronaldo left Real Madrid, I know there's been questions about bringing up Ronaldo, but it's been evident ever since he left Real Madrid, they've struggled in this competition, and that's because there's been a little bit of imbalance in the way Real Madrid approach the UEFA Champions League, and there's a lack of threat. Someone who we thought would come in and fill in the void left by Ronaldo and Eden Hazard has been out more times than he's even scored for Real Madrid. Karim Benzema is also most likely to miss the game. So it then comes into this game with a squad that has scored a total of 23 goals only, and that is, as I say, that is underwhelming when you look at the stats that Atalanta have put up in the Serie A. But I expect it to be a very feisty game. Atalanta, I'm pretty sure, are going to approach this game with the same way they approach other games. Try to go out there and win the game by attacking, and they won. They won the game against Napoli this past weekend by 4-2. So that they're in high spirits. The confidence is high. So Real Madrid have to be worried, and Zidane has to prepare his team that kind of threat. While Borussia Mönchengladbach take on Manchester City. Manchester City, as aforementioned, runaway leaders in the Premier League, 10 points clear of second place to Manchester United, and they are on an 18-game winning streak. So it's almost like a foregone conclusion, you would say. Borussia Mönchengladbach are currently in 8th place in the Bundesliga after starting the season off pretty well and seeing them top the table that involved Real Madrid and I forget the team that they played against, but it was a pretty tough, and Inter Milan that had both Real Madrid and Inter Milan. They topped the group and find themselves in the knockout stages. So it's interesting to see who's going to come out on top in this one. Borussia Mönchengladbach have their work cut out. And reading one of the papers, one journalist alluded to it, saying that the Borussia Mönchengladbach fans should actually savor the 180 minutes of the Champions League that their team is going to play against head coach Young, because that could be the last time that they play in the UEFA Champions League for a very long time, and rightly so. We can go into all the reasons as to why Manchester City are going to come out on top in this one. First and foremost, the quality is incomparable to what Borussia Mönchengladbach has. You have the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and Sergio Aguero returning. Phil Foden, most of the top players who have been hitting the goals and performing for Manchester City over the past couple of weeks did not play against Arsenal, a side that they went on to beat this past week, and then most of them will be returning in the likes of Phil Foden, in the likes of Rodri. They'll be returning for this game. So there's just too much firepower, there's just too much quality that I don't think Borussia Mönchengladbach is going to be able to cope up with in this game. So we have plenty of Champions League football coming up to you this week, and as I said, today Atletico Madrid take on Chelsea and Lazio take on Bayern Munich to kick things off in the second phase of the first leg of ties of the first leg of the round of 16 stage. As of right now, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for tuning into the show, and I'll see you guys all for the review of the UEFA Champions League.